Now the Chief Strategy Officer at security firm CyberCX. Alastair, thanks for your time. You would have heard what Claire O'Neill had to say today. She's talking about making Australia the most cyber secure nation in the world by 2030. Is it achievable?
Well, I think everyone would appreciate the ambition, and there's no doubt that Australia is a developed nation with strong cybersecurity capabilities can be up in that pack of countries that are cyber resilient.
Where do you think we are now, though, in terms of playing catch up? It seems that the Minister was pretty scathing about our preparedness right now.
Yeah, look, I think the Minister's got really, good ambition here to have Australia up at the top of that pack. I don't think anyone really knows where Australia sits compared to other Western developed nations. Traditionally, we've been seen by our peers as being as good as any other Western country. And let me try to break that down, Kieran. Early adopters of technology, using a lot of technology to do not just customer-facing work, but work at the back end. There's huge economic and social upsides for doing that. The downsides are obviously cyber risk. I don't know how we're going to measure being the most resilient country, but I think everyone in this industry really welcomes the idea of increasing and improving our cyber capabilities and perhaps more importantly, our cyber resilience against criminals and nation states that want to do us harm.
You look at some of the incursions recently, and it's meant in areas like telecommunications where we were under the impression they were all over it, but they clearly weren't, Alastair.
Well, the events of the last several months have highlighted a few things. One, it's driven into our lounge rooms and around our kitchen tables, conversations around cyber security, data privacy, and the need for this resilience, this risk to be driven down. So that's weirdly a good thing, Kieran. But on the issue of we thought companies had everything together, the phrase I've used now for nearly 20 years is there for the grace of God goes pretty much every other organisation. Now, every cyber incident is preventable, that's true, and I won't comment on the individual events that have occurred, but we'd be churlish to think that organisations can ever be bulletproof here. There's always going to be cyber risk realised. The key question is how often is that risk realised and how much harm occurs when that risk is realised.
So this panel of experts that the Minister has established today, what needs to be their top priorities as someone who knows this space very well yourself?
Well, I think the number one issue has to be to make this Australian internet environment to be less permissive to criminals. At the moment, criminals can literally walk up to the virtual front door and window of every organisation in this country and every household, rattle that door and even smash that window to get in. So while I understand what the government's done recently, which is increasing obligations upon organisations to make themselves more secure, where is the enforcement that reduces the likelihood of criminals actually wanting to come to those locked doors and locked windows? That's really where the government effort needs to be. And that's really where I think most people would agree it's been lacking in the past. So most of us would welcome initiatives that made it harder for criminals to actually even operate in this environment.
Alastair MacGibbon, Australia's former National Cyber Security Advisor, thanks so much. I appreciate your insights.
Thanks, Kieran.